Hi, welcome back to day 44 of 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. I really hope that you are enjoying, um, hold on, I'm sorry. I got sidetracked there for a second. Really hope that you are enjoying this book and that you are learning from these lessons because as a teenager, it can be difficult sometimes, or all the time, um, to know what's actually right from wrong, to make good decisions. Peer pressure can be a very difficult thing to deal with. And like even knowing how to talk to your parents to get optimal results and like your way, right? So we're going to kind of discuss that a little bit today. But that'll be in just a few minutes. So first, I want to remind you your homework last night was to write a paragraph, do your worksheets, of course, but then also write a paragraph about a time that either you were bullied or a friend was bullied. So I hope that you were able to do that. Uh, I want to share with you about a moment for me. So when I was in the seventh grade, I had a friend who was short and pretty chunky, and she wore glasses, and her hair was super, super, super curly, and it was like crazy curly, like wild and frizzy, crazy curly. And there was this group of girls who used to pick on her, and I don't remember exactly what they were picking on her about this time, but they didn't like the way she dressed. Um, she was sort of a prep and she always wore like collared button down shirts with khaki shorts, and she'd tuck her shirt in and wear her belt, and she was just a a different special kind of individual, but she was my friend and she was always really nice to me and always very helpful. And so these particular girls were picking on her one day, and there were, the girls everybody in school was scared of these girls. And my friend came over crying to me, and that upset me a lot. And I didn't like the fact that someone had made her feel as terrible as they did. And they had threatened her. They told her that when she went to gym that day, that they were going to catch her in the locker room and beat her up. So I thought to myself, I'm just going to handle this and nip it in the butt right now because nobody needs to get in trouble. And, I was new at this school, so it's not like I had this great reputation and people were going to listen to me because I was one of the cool kids. Like that was definitely not the case. Um, because I was a new student. Um, but this particular friend meant a lot to me because being a new student, she stepped in and helped me get adjusted. And so that was important to me to help her feel like somebody was on her team too. So I marched my happy self right over to this group of girls, and there was like four of them and one of me. And granted, I was tall even then, so but so was the one who had made the threat. And so, anyways, I said, I hear you ladies have a problem with um, that girl right there. And basically, it was just that they didn't like the way she looked, if I remember correctly. Like, they didn't like the way she looked. And so, and probably a little bit jealous of her because she was from a good family and she was able to wear things possibly that they weren't able to afford. So they were like, yeah, who's got a problem with it? And I just straight up told them, listen, you don't know me from Adam, and I'm not trying to have a problem with you, but I will easily have a problem with you if you, in fact, jump her in the locker room today. And I don't, that's basically what I said to them. And I think there was more shock in the situation, um, than there was anything, because I don't recall them coming back at me with anything. And I know that I never had problems with these girls after that particular moment. Um, we didn't like each other. There was kind of an open forum for that, but there was never a moment where, we were going to have issues with one another. I stayed clear of them, they stayed clear of me, and everything was fine. I think that it was simply the fact that someone had the nerve to stick up for her and say, hey, this is not right. What you're doing is not right. It's not fair and it's very hurtful. And you don't want to make these people angry. And so by doing that, um, it basically kind of made my friend's day, because now she knew, hey, somebody will stick up for me. And I mean, like I said, it kind of gave the other girls, the ones who everyone was afraid of, a mutual respect for me, even though we didn't like each other. Because they said, it was like that moment where they realized that I wasn't going to be someone that they were going to be able to pick on. And so just sometimes laying those boundaries and helping a friend out, as long as it's not going to put you in a situation where you're going to get in trouble, can be really important and really helpful and gain you a lifelong friendship. Because I'm still friends with that young woman today. So, anyways, I just wanted to share that story with you, because I ask you to share a lot, and sometimes I share and sometimes I don't. So, there's my story of helping someone when they were bullied. Now, as far as being bullied, I was never bullied. Like, people didn't bully me. Um, I was almost 6 foot tall in the seventh grade, so people were not bullying me, and I wasn't bullying them, and that's just how it went. I was always friendly, um, and life was pretty easy because of that. Now I could be petty, but who's not, right? And now today, knowing everything that I know, and for my peace of mind, I try really a lot to not be petty or sassy. But if somebody throws it at me, I'm going to throw it at them. Okay. And that's not a good habit to have. That's something that I'm working on changing in myself, is to just turn the cheek and look the other way and go on about my business instead of coming back with a snarky remark. All right. So, that being said, finding the highway is the topic here. Once you've bought into the idea that differences are a strength and not a weakness, and once you've committed to at least trying to celebrate differences, you are ready to find the highway. The Buddhist definition of the middle way does not mean compromise. It means higher, like the apex of a triangle. So, synergy is more than just compromise or cooperation. Compromise is 1 + 1 = 1.5. Cooperation is 1 + 1 = 2. Synergy is 1 + 1 = 3 and more. It's creative cooperation with an emphasis on the word creative. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Builders know all about it. If one 2x4 beam can support 607 pounds, then two 2x4s should be able to support 1,214 pounds, right? Actually, two 2x4s can support 1,821 pounds. If you nail them together, two 2x4s can now support 4,878 pounds, and three 2x4s nailed together can support 8,481 pounds. Musicians know how it works too. They know that when a C and G note are perfectly in tune, it produces a third note, or an E. Finding the highway always produces more, as Laney discovered. In my physics lab, the teacher was demonstrating the principle of momentum, and our assignment was to construct a catapult, like in medieval times. We called it the pumpkin launcher. There were three of us in our group, two boys and me. We are all quite different, so we came up with a lot of different ideas. One of us wanted to use bungee cords to make the launcher flip. Someone else wanted to use tension and ropes. We tried each without much success, and then we figured out a way to use both of them together. It gave a lot more spring than either would have alone. It was cool because it doubled the length of our shot. Synergy occurred as the founders of the United States were forming their government structure. William Patterson proposed the New Jersey Plan, which said that states should get equal representation in government regardless of population size. This plan favored the smaller states. James Madison had a different idea known as the Virginia Plan, which argued that states with greater populations should have a greater representation. This plan favored the larger states. After several weeks of debate, they reached a decision that all parties felt good about. They agreed to have two branches of Congress. In one branch, the Senate, each state would get two representatives, regardless of population size. In the other branch, the House of Representatives, each state would get representatives based on population. Although it is called the Great Compromise, this famous decision could really be called the Great Synergy because it has proved to be better than either of the original proposals. Okay, so your homework. Homework. I want you to write a paragraph about a time that you had creative compromise with someone and improved the outcome of whatever it was you were working on. Okay? So you're writing a paragraph about a time that you had creative compromise with someone and it improved the outcome of whatever it is you're working on. And if you can't come up with one on your own, then talk to the people around you or do a little bit of research and tell me a little bit more about something I might already know about. So when was synergy created between people in order to have creative cooperation? Okay? When was a time that you compromised, you collaborated with someone, and because you put both of your ideas together, or all three of your ideas together, or all four of your ideas together, the outcome was greater than it would have been had you just used one of those ideas? Okay? All right. I look forward to reading those little paragraphs and hearing about them. You guys have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Toodle-doo.